RFI, RFC, request for comment, request for information. I'm going to present a set of ideas really quickly here, and at the end of it, I'll include the thing about the 2012 version of the backrooms image. It wasn't. But here we go. From 1960 to the year 2007, a person named Richard Horne existed and went under the name Harry Horse. And he made something called Drowned God, among other things. He's also a murderer, a brutal murderer, including killing his pets. So you can look below at the link for DG and RH. RH will be in lowercase characters because anybody who commits murder, I don't capitalize their initials or names. I won't, at least normally. Someone asked me about these subjects, and there's a bunch of them, so which one does anybody want me to do a video on, if any? That's what this is about. Next, Sherry Shriner, messenger of the Most High reptilian alien doomsday cult god. A person who existed that I know I've looked up and I did a video on many channels ago. Told a woman her boyfriend was a lizard, so that woman killed her boyfriend and is now in prison. Sherry Shriner died. She was leading a doomsday cult. It's your typical, I want to be powerful, have powerful over people, and get away with it, so she literally got away with it. She died before anybody punished her, or she had her comeuppance. All cult leaders are evil. Period. And that includes any prosperity or other type church people who have mega churches. All of them are the work of the devil. They're not just working for the devil. They literally are the work of the devil. But anyway, if anybody wants me to do a video on this person, that I know I did a video on this a long time ago. It was a throwaway video. Because it's just, I mean, that isn't all that happened. But that's what always happens. It's a cult. It's always somebody who's extremely coercive to people, causes horrible things to happen, and dies or takes their followers with them. And it was Flavor Aid, not Kool-Aid. So anyway, let's move on. Futel project, or Futel. If you're not aware of it, when you write programs, one of the things you put in for a default thing to send information to or get it from is usually labeled foo, like kung fu. You use the word foo. It's usually F-O-O, but F-U, pun intended, telecom. A group of people buying up old, thrown away phone booths, buying them and outfitting them as legit telephone replacements, and either wiring them up with a battery in a cell phone or maybe a power line, putting them where people can find them, and making them essentially maintenance free because they don't charge any money. That's one of many iterations of the story. Problem. Futel, when you look it up, you find hundreds and hundreds of disparate pages in no one location. I have a YouTube channel, several of them. It gets torn down, blah, blah, blah. I have a website that even though the administrator, hey Corey, if you're watching, how you doing? Even the administrator just absolutely hates my page, but he can't take it down because it is so low bandwidth. It's almost pure text. It's been up for, I don't even know how long it's bad uptime for. It's on a test server. He tests out new server software. He works it as a service, Corey and others. And Futel, just put up a website, put up your version of reality and what has happened. Instead, I have to go to Tumblr. So anyway, you're going to find 2015, 2022 versions of stories about the next subject with it. They're not, I can do one or the other, but the thing that's being associated for some reason with Futel, again, putting up basically free public telephones, not at all like the Portland Telco project. Hi. Yeah, we got stymied by everybody else in the area that figured out they could make money by kicking us out of the discussion, and that was one of many times I got kicked out of a city council meeting in Portland. Flyers listing themselves as Happy or Willamette Valley Dream Survey, asking you for your dreams. That's not necessarily associated with Futel at all, or Futel, or Futel. But for some reason, someone brought them up at the same time. Futel doesn't believe there's any connection, and also mentions that the first YouTube video that mentioned them, that talked about the Happy Valley Dream Survey at the time, or now it would be called Willamette Valley Dream Survey. It's actually both. Said that it had a YouTuber that was the floating head guy. I absolutely remember doing this video a long time ago. That was one of many channels that died a long time ago. It got like 5 views. I didn't even know if it was seen by them. Maybe this isn't what they're referring to, but I really looked hard for anybody typing about Futel and being a channel called the Floating Head Guy or anything like that. Even Futel doesn't explain where the hell they're getting that reference to. And that totally sounds like they're referring to me, but I don't know. And if you guys are watching, just comment below me, whether or not you were actually referring to me. But anyway, the person said that it went off inevitably into right-wing conspiracies. I debunk conspiracy theories. But in order to debunk something, I have to mention it. That doesn't mean I endorse it. Again, if you're confused by the subject, so's YouTube's bot. So welcome to the bottom of the barrel of intelligence if you got confused about it. But again, they may not be referring to me. It could be somebody else who has a floaty head thing. Side note, apparently I'm the only one on YouTube that does it this way. I didn't intend for this to be some sort of aesthetic. I did it for expedient reasons. It made it to where I didn't need a background. I could keep it consistent. Just have to find a dark room, make the background on my screen white by either putting up a blank web page or just telling the background to be white, and it acts like a light source. And apparently, I went ahead and looked. No one else does this, apparently, unless they're making a spooky image or trying to do a mirror on the wall, or maybe it's a computer interface on a spaceship. I love all the references I get. Floaty head guy, the egg head guy. I even did myself as a dumbbell, or not a dumbbell, a bowling pin. Yeah. No, anyway. If you want me to do a video on Sherry Shriner, the Messenger of the Most High Reptilian God, or Futel, or on the Happy Valley or whatever Dream Survey, comment below. And if you want me to do a video on Richard Horne, aka Harry Horse, aka Drowned God, or anything else, I can do a video on that too. Now we're at the end of the video. Now I'm going to do the comment someone made. The last known backrooms origin was from 2012. No, it wasn't. When you upload an image on 4chan, it grabs the time and date stamp of that day and puts it in as the file name. It uses a long string of numbers, almost exclusively numbers. There's a variation that uses alphabetic characters as well to make it less long. And a lot of pages do this. And what it does is it makes it to where it's truly unique to the millisecond, at least it tries to. So the image has a unique time and date stamp encoded in its file name. It doesn't alter the image. It might strip out metadata depending on what website you're on, and 4chan and other chans sometimes rip out metadata to protect people's privacy, because almost no one realizes that their camera or their cell phone is squealing on them through JPEGs. I mean, that really is a thing. So here's the thing. If you want to, you can name your picture you're uploading onto 4chan, and the picture's name will show up, but when you click on it, it puts it up with that time and date stamp as the title of the video or picture or whatever. Excuse me, the picture. It changes the file name. But someone on 4chan decided to upload one with an altered version of the Unix timestamp, so it'd say it was from 2012. Now that may actually be accurate, but the likelihood of it not being accurate is much higher. There's no example from 2018 back to 2012, and the individual who uploaded it never responded to any questions about it. I mean, people do drive-by dumps onto 4chan and the internet in general. Hell, you could accuse me of doing it. But the point is, there's no indication that the backrooms image has a true origin from 2012 on 4chan. Someone renamed the file before uploading it to make it look that way. And a bunch of people on 4chan are notorious for saying first for some reason. And they do it by any means necessary, including faking file names like that. But the 4chan server brings up the accurate timing, and it's to the millisecond accurate to when the posting was done. It is not a file from 2012, and that's it. Period. You have to show that it is somehow. That means finding it being posted in 2012, not just being renamed. If I put up my picture and say original version of Robert Redford when he was 50 without makeup, I guess, not colorized, decolorized. The turnerizer. That doesn't make it so. It's just the title of the fucking file. And yes, 4chan B-tards, they're called, are notorious for doing that. In fact, it's something they all know about. In fact, at one point it was a bannable offense, not on B, but on other Chan boards. Other Chans where you upload images, if they won't expunge it, they tell you ahead of time, we're going to include the GPS and everything so that we don't have to ask you where the photo was taken and when. Because they want you to include it in, I mean, they want you to title the picture what the title is going to be and leave the metadata in. Some websites actually kind of get pissy about that because they don't want people posting an image claiming a copyright to it and everybody finds out that they faked it or grabbed it from some other website. So, the list. If anybody wants me to comment on this, I already did a video on it not being a 2012 image for the backrooms. If you want me to do a video on Richard Horne, aka Harry Horse, aka the author of Drowned God, go ahead and post it. If you want me to do Sherry Shriner, the reptilian alien doomsday cult thing, comment. If you want me to do a video on Futel, I'll do it. If you want me to do a video on the Dream Survey, Valley Dream Survey, go ahead. I also include some links below where you can look it up more if you want to. I don't know if there's a reason to do it, so this will just be a just answering questions with Lab Tech and an RFI RFC. I've also posted this in the community tab, which I use now mostly to dump notes about these things so I can organize it because it lets me edit my postings before I post it to you. So I can get the spell check to work. I'm just using the spell check that Google and YouTube and my browser all dogpile on so that I can get the spelling right, and that's about all I use it for. I mean, that way I can just post it literally like this in the video and not have to check the spelling. That's it. Any other requests, that's fine. That's about it. Now I'm going to figure out how to launch AA batteries cut in half out of a flare gun because they totally work.